What's the haps? I'm John, aka Meroka, and welcome to Spiel. We're in the Golden Sun Gate, which is a gate I can scarcely pass upon on your opportunity to delve down into. I like gates that have names that reference other things. It's shock, you can see from the lightning in the background. See? Lots of lightning out there. It's shocking. Although, you can tell from the music that this is a deconstruction zone, which probably won't actually have all that much shocking, because gremlins don't do that. Gremlins are surprisingly limited in their varieties. There's just kind of the melee dudes and then the fiery dudes. I'm surprised there aren't more of them. They should have made other flavors of gremlins. Should make, like, I don't know, other stuff. Freeze gremlins. Can we have some freeze gremlins? And some, yeah, well, shock gremlins. 3 rings, get on it. There you go. 3 ideas. They're fairly obvious ideas that I would have thought you could have had a long time ago, but there you go. Those are ideas. So, yay. So, this is what we're doing. So, I'm not aware of any Spiral Knights news at this point in time, so that's kind of something to give a miss, I suppose. I'm not even going to do the jingle for a non-existent segment, I don't think. There really is nothing to say there. In other news, I'm slightly concerned my ISP is throttling my internet because I've started trying to upload even more video than I have been doing lately. I've been uploading on some days 3 or 4 videos, which is, it takes a bit of planning ahead of time, and I've been doing it, but last couple of days my internet has been like cutting out and really slow for like no reason all the time. I'm like, oh, is this going to be a problem going forward? I don't know, but we shall see. We shall see. I hope that's not going to be the case. Also in other news relating to me, I have another job interview tomorrow for a very similar job to the one I did last time. Not sure how I feel about that, but hey, wish me luck. I could use some money. So, yay. Again, I would like to do this as a career. If I got another job, I would have to cut back on how many things I got. There's no way I can make 4 videos a day whilst I'm holding down a job. I know some people do, and I don't know how they manage it. Those people are machines and crazy people. But I am not a machine or a crazy person. The only reason I can manage this is because I ain't got nothing better to do with my time at the minute. So, there's that. So yeah, let's head on and do questions and talk about things, for such is the nature of the series. This is a series in which I talk about the things that you ask me about, and I will talk about them at length, or at least some degree of length. If you want to be on next week's show, you could do a lot worse than leaving me questions and topics in the comments below, and then I will give you a little bit of a shout out. I will mention your name in the show, and you'll be internet famous, or something like that. And we shall talk about the things that you want me to talk about, and everybody has a fun time. Oh, hang on. Can I get my cat to hit that? No, I can't. Okay. Confirmed. Damn it, I don't have a gun on me, so I don't know how I can hit that. I don't think the shockwave would go over there either. Just testing. Nope, no it won't. I need a throwable. I'm not carrying any of those either, am I? Damn it. Can someone drop a single vial of something? I require it for loot. Ouch. So yes, loot is what I want in my life. So let us move on to questions. Before I open any of these doors and let things out, let's read on, because it's a long one. The man whose name I mispronounced last week, who is Xavier. Or Xavier, how do you pronounce that? Xavier, I guess it is. Like, he did say it was like X-Men, so I guess it's Professor Xavier, isn't it? So Xavier, yes. Xavier225 says, how do you feel is the proper way to deal with cutscenes in games? I've noticed most cutscenes often ruin the flow of gameplay, with cutscenes being put in at times gameplay would have been better would have served as a better substitute. I'm trying to read and play at the same time here. There have also been several cases where cutscenes also take up most of the gameplay, enticing gamers with good graphics and spectacles instead of giving more focus to the game itself. Final Fantasy series you played a while ago suffers from this fault. Oh, you're referring to Final Fantasy 14? I didn't think that was too heavy on it. It was heavier than most MMOs, but I didn't think it was. I didn't think it particularly ruined it. It broke up the action and added a bit of context and something nice for a change. I didn't dislike that in Final Fantasy 14, if I'm honest. It did mean I had to shut up and watch things for a while, which distracted from commentary, which is, from a video making perspective, that's always kind of awkward when it's like, do I leave this in, or do I talk over it? If it's lots of heavy voice acting and stuff, I'm kind of inclined to shut up and let you listen to it. Some people will just straight up talk over the whole thing. I don't know. I feel like if you're watching a video of the game, chances are you at least have some interest in the game and probably are interested in the cutscenes to a certain extent. The intro was excessive in Final Fantasy XIV, actually, yeah. Before you got into the game, that took frickin' ages before you could actually get started, but the stuff that broke up the stuff later, not so much. Anyway, with more games companies getting better resources, they tend to put on a reasonable amount of these resources into cutscenes, most likely as an attempt to give heavy lore to the players. I'm not suggesting cutscenes are bad, should be done away with, but some proper use would certainly do some good. In my opinion, cutscenes serve as a way to give context to players and are a little reward to show them their reason to keep playing from moment to moment. Although cutscenes are able to create some good context, they can't be fully relied on, but instead paired with great music, characters, and environments as well. Cutscenes. They are... I don't think they're necessarily... Some people hate them outright, and clearly this is a divisive issue, but I don't think they're necessarily inherently bad, but they need to... yes, they do need to be used with great caution. With great power comes great responsibility, and with great cutscenes. I don't know where I was going with that. Woo! 2 sparks, nice. So, I have a... Oh, I have a vial. Let's not mess this up now. Cool. So, you can... I'm trying to think of games that don't rely on it and work well, and Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons is like the first and foremost one that springs to mind in that regard. That game, it told all the story extremely well without forcing it down your throat through cutscenes. With that said, it did have cutscenes. It wasn't entirely narrative driven via the mechanics and story and gameplay. A lot of it was, but there were a few cutscene bits. They weren't very long ones, they weren't very heavy on them, but I think they used them kind of more at the right moment. The problem with trying to go down a completely non-cutscene route is you kind of wind up trying to give context to the player and story and explain things, and the player can just wander off and not engage. And if you're trying to... I imagine that's really frustrating from a writer's perspective. If you're trying to get someone to engage with your story and they literally have the option to just go, you know what, I'm not bothered, that could be a thing. I mean, I don't know whether this is technically relevant. Oh god, I should have changed my loadout, shouldn't I? Uh-oh. No, yeah, I definitely should have changed my loadout. Crud. Yep, we got fiends. I ain't got the equipment to deal with fiends here. Damn. Okay, never mind. Well, we're gonna die. I'm thinking of Half-Life, actually, for some reason, which is, say, most of the stuff was just sort of conversations with characters, and you were obviously the mute person standing around in the background. I'm in great pain here. Oh god, I need these hearts. I need you to give me more of them. But that then allowed for the player to kind of just wander off and not engage with the game. So, I don't know. Maybe there's an argument to be made to say that, you know, players should be allowed to do that. I mean, the player is playing the game, they can experience it how they want. If they just want to run around shooting things or hitting things with a sword or whatever the context of the game might be, and don't particularly really care about the story whatsoever, then does it really need to be forced down their throat? Like, at all? Is there any reason to do that? I need to... Okay, we've got some Gorgos. I'm wondering if I can get away with killing the bare minimum number of Gorgos. I think I can. Possibly. I think that may be the bare minimum number of Gorgos. Well, I have some attack buffs. Can that one get out? That one actually can't get out. There's the best kind of Gorgo, a trapped Gorgo. That is a party switch, so let's go this way. Yeah, there's a fine balance to be struck with cutscenes. If you can manage a mechanic that doesn't use them and convey the story through game mechanics as opposed to that, I really think games should probably try to strive to do that. But then other games are more about the spectacle, and some people maybe just want a slightly interactive movie kind of experience, because both are equally valid. I mean, some people would rather enjoy that, so there's definitely a case to be made for both. It is a matter of making what the market demands. If people want to see a kind of content... Why I used the wrong pill? Damn it. If people want to see a kind of content, well... people are going to make that kind of content because that's what sells. If people enjoy watching something like... I'm trying to think of something that is really, really cutscene heavy. Like, ludicrously heavy. To be fair... I was going to say Life is Strange, but it's not that heavy. There is a lot of cutscene in that. but not... It's not crazy heavy, and there's usually stuff going on during the bits where narrative's being delivered to you. It does give you some actual interaction there, so maybe that's a better example. Certainly, as you already mentioned, Final Fantasy, your JRPG type stuff has historically had a tendency to go a bit overboard with that can have cutscenes that go on for ages and ages and ages and ages and ages. But those are always kind of part of the genre. Nobody ever really complained. No one ever said, oh, there's too many cutscenes in Final Fantasy, there's too many cutscenes in Tales, there's too many cutscenes in pick a frickin' JRPG. That was just kind of the territory. You expected that in the game. That's what the game was. That's what the game contained. Well, damn it, I thought I could block that one. I could not. No! No, 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 no. Stop throwing floppy disks at me. They are outdated technology. Upgrade your office, goddamn devilites. Jesus. Who uses floppy disks anymore? Devil IT, I guess, do. We need to get with the times. Take the... Oh, there's one more. Hi. Let's deal with you guys before I move on. So yeah, cutscenes. I don't think we're ever going to get rid of cutscenes. Cutscenes are always going to be a thing, but they should be handled with caution. There's a delicate balance to be struck, and I think developers. I think we'd see a lot more interesting games if developers made an effort to try to move away from them. But we're never going to get rid of them. They're not inherently evil. They're just... They can be obnoxious to certain tastes if overdone. But clearly, as I say, given the success of things like your Final Fantasies and Tales and other such things, Metal Gear Solid, I suppose, is actually probably a pretty good choice as well, actually, for overly heavy cutscene. But not to say there was no gameplay in that. They just had like genuinely 30-minute cutscenes and stuff, I think. How long was the final section, final cutscene in the first Metal Gear Solid? It was crazy long, was it not? I forget the exact length, but I know the actual amount of video for the first Metal Gear Solid was like a silly length of time. Yeah. I played the GameCube version, which was much the same. I never played the actual original one on the PlayStation because I didn't have a PlayStation. I was an N64 generation type of person. But there you go. Anyway. Next question. I've still got some of mine from last week written down. Whoopsie, let's scroll down a little bit. Levi, always with the interesting question, talks about dark matter, of all things. Dark energy is about 68% of the universe, and dark matter is about 27%. The rest is normal matter and antimatter. Dark matter is responsible for keeping galaxies together with its gravitational pull. Dark energy is the reason that the universe is expanding. How do you feel about dark matter and dark energy? Damn it, that was foolish. Oh, oh, ow. Why would I drop my shield there? How do you feel about dark matter and dark energy, and how we cannot touch or feel it because it does not react with anything? And furthermore to that, can you imagine what the universe would be like without them? That's a really weird. That's a weird question. How do you feel about dark matter? It's kind of one of those fundamental things of the universe that's always there and you can't see it. It's like, how do you feel about neutrinos? How do I feel about them? They're a subatomic particle. I have no strong emotional attachment to subatomic particles that we know next to nothing about. The fact that we cannot see or interact with them, we know very little about dark matter and dark energy. Likewise, neutrinos we don't know a heck of a lot about because we've got no real way of interacting with them, we've got no real way of sensing them, and by extension testing them. I don't know where they come from. Well, we know some sources of neutrinos, and we've got some ways to detect it, but they're not well understood, I don't think. With dark matter and dark energy, it's not even so much that we can't test it, it's that we don't even know what they are. We kind of have a rough mathematical model of the universe that kind of holds true for everything that we can see and test. Our theories say, okay, according to the numbers that we've got, we can sort of put together a model that says our universe works kind of like this. Which way did I come from? It was this way? Yeah. I didn't come from this way. I'm going this way. We kind of got a rough mathematical model of the universe that says the universe works like this. And there's kind of bits that don't add up. It's, as you say, the universe is expanding more than can be accounted for by the measurements that we can make. As well, the galaxies are held together by more gravitation than is accounted for by the mass that is in the galaxies. So, like, you look at the galaxies, you look at everything that's out there, you can study it, we can look at it, we can see, we can calculate roughly how much mass, how much matter is in the universe holding everything together, and we can say, there's not enough there. There's not enough mass in all of the stars, in all of the galaxies, to account for the fact that everything is held together by gravity. There just isn't enough stuff in the universe to provide the gravity to actually hold the universe together. So there's something else out there. And dark matter is just kind of the name we give to that. This was jellies, was it not? Yes, I believe. So let me put on my jelly set. So these are almost more placeholders than anything else. We don't really know what form they take. We don't know what sort of how to interpret it. We know probably a little bit more about dark matter than we do dark energy. Dark energy is almost entirely speculative. Dark matter is still heavily theoretical, but probably a tiny smidgen more grounded in reality than dark energy. Dark energy is just like, here's a few ideas on how this could work, but we really don't know this, like, at all. I did spend a little while looking at the NASA page on it. There's a few theories on dark energy. I believe one is simply that Einstein's theories on gravity are wrong, which is like, oh, that's all very well and good, that could be a thing, but then you have to say, well, what's right? That doesn't actually particularly explain what's wrong with the theories on gravity. It certainly doesn't. It certainly would suggest why things don't add up. Our theories on gravity are wrong. That's why things are held together better than they are, or expanding faster than they are. If the theories of gravity were wrong, that would be the case. But it doesn't really explain what's right about those theories. And to come up with a model, you need to have something that holds true for everything that we can observe and makes sense in the grander context of everything else. So I think there are a couple of scientists that put forward ideas in that regard, but nothing that has been really generally nothing has been peer-reviewed and generally accepted by the scientific community. I don't know why I ran across a bunch of spikes there. Ouch! My day just keeps getting worse! God freaking damn it. Seriously. Oh, and they have healers as well. Well, that's fun. Fun like an Acheron in the face. Get sliced up. I love this sword. It can out-damage all the healers in the world. It's so good. Such a good sword. Someone was asking for recommendations on sword last week. This one. Get this sword. This sword is so good. I need a pill now. Popping pills. Oh, there's more of them? You want to get cut up too? So yeah, dark matter. Yeah, like I said, there's the prevailing thought is that they are. Scientists have come up with two really stupid names because scientists love acronyms. There are. I'm trying to remember what they're called. The machos and wimps are the acronyms. Weakly interactive massive particles. The theory for is the wimps, which is the idea of particles that have a lot of mass, hence accounting for a lot of the gravitation in the universe. They have a lot of mass and therefore gravity, but they are weakly interacting. They are like neutrinos. They are really hard to see or touch, and they don't interact with anything. They would be dark because they don't interact with, like, they don't produce photons. We could not see them. They do not interact with any sensors, so there's no way of detecting them. They do not interact with our eyes. We cannot see them, although our eyes are very, very limited tools, to be fair, considering the amount of things in the universe. So yeah, they are weakly interacting. So that is one thing. There's also... I can't for the life of me remember what machos stand for. Machos and wimps are the two kind of particles that they are theoretically saying could form dark matter. Wimps are the only ones that I really remember. Yeah, weakly interactive massive particles. They make up most of the matter in the universe, but they interact with almost nothing. Hence, we can't really see them or study them or even really know much about them in any way, shape, or form. And I can't for the life of me remember what the other one is, so forgive me on that one. There's something for you to Google and do further research. Do your homework, kids. Go find out about machos in the context of astrophysics and particle physics and the universe around us. NASA has some good stuff on it. Read that. NASA will tell you. NASA is good for many things, including finding out all about the universe. We have one last mystery level. One last mystery level. So yeah, the dark energy, there was another theory, there were 3 prevailing theories, all of which are again, very, very speculative. One was that the space... Oh, I do remember the other 2, actually, yes, this... Yeah. So I spent a while studying it last night, so it should be fairly fresh in my mind. One is that there are virtual particles which come into existence and disappear in... essentially space, where we think there is nothing, a vacuum of space, the void between the stars, between the planets, between the galaxies, is not actually a void. Oh, we have zombies? Okay. Let's change to the undead loadout. It's not actually a void, it's, well, there are particles, but they are virtual particles, kind of. Virtual seems like a really weird way to describe it when you... Virtual, normally you think of, like, computer-generated something or other. I also want this on because I'm heating it. But in this case, it basically means they're basically saying the particles are only around for a limited time. They sort of appear and disappear really quickly, and they make up a lot, they would account for a lot of the energy in the universe. However, when you actually run the numbers on kind of the theory behind it, they overestimated how much energy that would actually produce in the universe by an order of 10 to the power of 120. That is a 1 with 120 zeros after it, which is kind of a lot. They're out by a little bit of a margin there. So that theory probably doesn't hold too true. Yeah, 1 with 120 zeros, I mean, there's... a Google is a 1 with 100 zeros on it. So it is 20 times bigger than a Google, which is quite impressive. A Googleplex is 1 with a Google zeros after it, which is like an astonishing figure. And I'm pretty sure there is in a Googleplex... there probably is not a Googleplex number of anything in our universe. I think it's mostly a hypothetical number that serves no real purpose or anything whatsoever. But amusing to note that this scientific figure came out to be more than a Google wrong, which is like a lot. That's a really big number. So that theory, if it were true, it probably needs a little bit of work. I don't think it's going to hold up too well. I don't see why you couldn't just tweet... Given that it's, like I say, purely hypothetical, I mean, I don't really know any of the science or any of the details behind it, I just know kind of the results there. It'd be interesting to know, say, for me, why can't you just say there are less particles? It's like, okay, there are virtual particles, but maybe there are a Google less particles than we thought there were. Maybe these virtual particles exist, but they're just really nowhere remotely as common as we sort of thought they were. I don't see why that's not a particularly viable option, just the numbers. But hey, like I say, I'm not involved in the science. I don't even know how this theory came to be. It may well be purely speculative. I don't know. But there you go. That's one prevailing theory that's probably not right. It's generally accepted as being probably not right, but nonetheless a theory anyway. The other theory is based on Einstein's theories, which suggests that, and indeed, well, Einstein was usually right about quite a lot of things, so it may have something to back it up there. It is that empty space itself has energy. Whether it's actually actively referring to vacuum energy or not there, when they're like, oh, empty space has energy, and it's like, well, the vacuum energy? Yeah, okay. It was like, I don't know if that's the same thing or if I'm mixing up terms there. NASA did not fully explain that one. But nonetheless, the theories, Einstein's theories of gravitation states that, have I done these ones? I have. States that empty space has energy and that you can create more empty space. So that as the universe expands, rather than stretching everything, it's not so much that the universe is a fixed size, but is stretching. What is actually happening is, as the universe expands, it's creating more empty space. And that empty space, because it is not the same amount being stretched, it is basically fundamentally creating more stuff, even if that stuff is nothing. And by doing so, it's creating more energy. As you create more empty space, that empty space all has energy. So you're actually slowly injecting more energy into the universe as more space is creating. And this is getting very wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey, mind-bendy kind of thing. This is the sort of thing that unless you actually know the numbers behind it, you kind of get into territory where you just have to kind of accept that somebody a lot smarter than you has gone through and done the numbers on this. There's not something there you can go, that makes sense. I understand the train of logic, but it's a really weird concept to wrap your head around. But nonetheless, if this is allegedly the case, and Einstein says it is, so I'm inclined to go with him on that. He seemed like he knew his stuff, so Einstein says this is the case. So that's basically generating more energy. So that would be that would account for the amount of energy in the universe that makes the universe expand. So that would explain dark energy, at least slightly. So those are your two prevailing things. That's your dark matter and that's your dark energy. We don't know much about either of them, like at all. So to say, how do I feel about them? Man, I've taken this question a long way, haven't I? To say, how do I feel about them? How do I feel about a thing we don't know anything about? Pretty neutral, pretty okay, pretty cool. They're interesting. They're certainly interesting to think about. The Einstein's theory is like, oh, that's a really interesting sort of head scratcher with the one I literally just explained with the vacuum energy or space energy, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what that is. That idea is a really interesting one to kind of think about, even if it is very, very strange. So it is an interesting little thought experiment, but I don't think at this stage in human history. Where the hell have I gone wrong, by the way? Because I thought that was going to be the exit. At this stage in human history, I don't think we know anywhere near enough about them for it to be of any particular use to anybody or any kind of anything more than just something interesting to think about. I'm kind of okay with the idea that there are things in this universe that we cannot interact with. I kind of accept that neutrinos are a thing. They're definitely not mutating. The neutrinos aren't mutating, no. The neutrinos, because I discussed neutrinos last week, I think? I discussed neutrinos at some point. I'm okay with neutrinos. Neutrinos have no impact on my life, and I'm kind of okay with that. I've made peace with neutrinos. Likewise, I'm fairly okay with sort of these placeholder speculative concepts for things that govern our universe, but we don't yet have the technology to sense or interact with or really know much about. I'm okay with that. Can you imagine what the universe would be like without these? No. No, I couldn't. I really couldn't, because, as I say, they are almost placeholder concepts for things we don't understand and entirely speculative. No, I haven't got a clue what the universe would be like without those. Not the foggiest. Because I really don't think anyone could. I mean, without dark matter, presumably, in theory, things would drift apart and there wouldn't be enough gravity to hold everything together. Without the dark energy, the universe would not be expanding. It might have come to kind of a halt, and maybe even by this point in the history have reversed and started heading back towards each other for a big crunch. I don't think we'd be necessarily extinct by this point, but I don't know. At the same time, without that in the universe, would we ever have come to existence in the first place? Chances are, without dark matter and dark energy as, fundamental properties of the universe, we probably would never have come to existence in the first place. There may not be an Earth, there may not be a sun, there may not even be a single goddamn star in the universe. The universe might, in its entirety, just be a seething mass of... My god, 2 arenas in a row? What? Okay, fine, sure. The universe itself may just be a seething mass of kind of particles, subatomic particles, and thermal energy. That's probably what it would be, sort of strings and quarks, and a lot of heat. That's probably what the universe would be without dark matter and dark energy. But that is my very, very much amateur layman sort of speculation on this. I have no numbers to back that up, and no sources to verify that one. That is me being purely and entirely speculative on that front. Which is okay, because this entire section has been almost entirely speculation, even if most of it was speculation by people smarter than I. People much, much, much smarter than I. Like Einstein, although his stuff was theories. We're deriving things from his theories rather than his speculation. Einstein did not speculate the gravity stuff, he theorized the gravity stuff. Theories are more solid and more concrete than speculation. They can be well established and well held and still be wrong, but nonetheless, there you go. So yeah, I think we are probably coming to an end here. Levi, a question that was left from, I guess, the previous week that I never did answer, just to wrap up Levi's section, is, do you like balloon animals? don't... I've never had many interactions with balloon animals in my life. Again, they are the dark matter of balloons for me. I don't know. I've never really given a lot of thought to balloon animals in my life. I've never gone, balloon animals. They're really satisfying and a thing that I am super passionate about. At the same point, neither have I gone, ew, balloon animals. I hate balloon animals. They're kind of just... They're a thing that I'm aware exists, and I never really have any involvement with them. They are very much dark matter to me. So, those are balloon animals. I know they made for a really annoying puzzle in Grim Fandango. That was about it. But there you go. Alrighty, we are at the end. We're going to have a sneaky peek at Basil to see what Basil is selling. What is Basil selling? Is he selling anything fun? It's a negatory? Nope, nothing useful that I can sell there that I could see. So there we go. So thank you very much for watching. This has been another interesting little episode. I quite enjoyed talking about dark matter. That was a good one. Don't forget to leave me questions and topics and things in the comments below. If you want me to talk about things and give you a bit of a shout out, leave them in the comments below, and I will hopefully get around to them at some point in the very, very near future. Not necessarily going to be next week, because some of these take a little while to talk about, see dark matter for instance, but I will try to get around to as many questions as I can humanly manage, unless you start asking me about politics, in which case I might just ignore you. That's kind of one of the topics I do tend to steer away from. But there you go, I'll leave that there. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it, because that helps me out a bunch, and don't forget to check out my Patreon in the outro in just a hot second, which would be the utmost #1 single best way to support my content. If you want to do that, that would be phenomenal. Well, there you go. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Meroka. I shall see you next time. That didn't do a shockwave. Hang on, I want to do this again. I feel cheated. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next... What's going on there? There's no shock. I'll see you next time. I'm not getting a shockwave today.